Hey guys, what's going on? It's Patrick here of Idealholsters, bringing another knife review to you. In front of the camera and from the title, this is a CRKT Ripple 2. The one outside the box right here, this is the old CRKT Ripple. I think they're still actually manufacturing this one, but this is the Chinese version, the more affordable one. But we'll jump into it here in a second. The Ripple, what do I think about it overall? After having this knife in my possession for a while, I love it. It's actually one of my most favorite everyday carry knives, just because of the size, the weight, the way it carries. Although it does carry tip down, it's still a joy to carry. It's more of a gentleman's folder, something you could pull out, a more casual scene by the looks of it. But for everyday use, it's a good knife for light duty, especially this one, being a liner lock. So let's talk about the CRKT Ripple 2, which we have here in the box. This knife I've been wanting for a very long time. I saw it on Blade Show back when they first introduced it, and I was like, man, that is a good looking blade. I want it. I had to wait a while, then it finally was out on the market where you can get a hold of it. I had it set up on CRKT's website where I got an email sent to me when it was released, and I didn't get it through CRKT. I actually got it through a second source, but you can get it from them or you can get it from Amazon, I believe now. It's all over the place. But the model we're reviewing here is the K41 BXP Ripple 2. This is Ripple 2, which is the smaller version than, say, this size blade, the 3-inch. This here is the 2-inch blade. Now, I am a 3-inch blade guy for EDC. There for a while I was on a streak where all my blades were at least 3 inches. I was always attracted to that size blade for everyday carry. And I had a flashed, a Assault Flash 1 that I did a giveaway on, which is my personal knife. I never liked it because of its size and the way it carried and all that. So I thought I'd give it another try. Try another smaller knife. See how it works and what I can fit it in my everyday carry. So let's go ahead and open up the box here. And just to let you know, this will be a series of videos on this knife here. I'll explain more. So in the box, like usual with CRKTs, you get the knife, a package, and you get their little catalog inside. And I've had this knife out for a while. I thought I'd just put it back in the package. Okay, so here's the Ripple. It's a good looking blade. It's your first impressions when you take it out of the box. It's just that bronze. It's more of a goldish color than you would expect. Pictures online, it looks more like a coyote tan or something, but the bronze is very gorgeous. The other side here, and just to say, this is the frame lock version with the Akuto steel. This knife is actually pretty heavy for its size. Compared to the cheap Chinese version here with the aluminum scales, this is like a 2-ounce knife, if that. This thing is close to 3 ounces, I want to say. I don't have my scale with me, but I'm just going to ballpark and just say 3 ounces because it's pretty heavy. But not so where you can feel it in your pocket as much, yanking and all that. But so yeah, overall presentation of the blade, it's beautiful, it's elegant. Yet again, Kershaw, Ken Onion and his flowing designs, they're just, to me, I just love them. I'm always attracted to his, the flow of his designs, and I think that's why I own so many Ken Onions. But this knife is first production model. You can see up top here. Oh, I can't get it to focus. Wow. It's up there, I promise. Right up there. So it would tell you right now, I didn't get this thing when it first came out, so I definitely got it from a second source like eBay. The knife is rocking the IKBS ball bearing system. This is the real IKBS system, not the Chinese version of it, and there's a difference. I'll explain here in a second. The action is very smooth, the lockup is amazing, the blade centering is outstanding. Speaking of that, we got flow through pillar construction, another plus. I love that in knives. The thinness of this knife is just awesome. Compare it here with my Droid Razor Max. You can see there's a definite difference there. The pocket clip is still that shiny, drilled through look. It's got that. It looks like they've angled this way down, the way that it catches on your pocket. Excuse me, bumping this tripod. You can see there how it's not as flared up back there in the back. If I get up the Chinese one here, it's a problem I really noticed on this blade, but it flares out too much. So they fixed that so it's not catching on everything. It's not a knife you really have to put your hand across when you're passing cars. But yeah, they've improved that a lot. I'll give them that. What else can I talk about here? The ripple effect on the design of this blade, excuse me, on the scales, at least compared to the Chinese version. I think I never really seen the more expensive version of the first ripple. But it's got a lot more grip. It's very milled out. So you actually got a good bit of traction on that right through there. It's kind of like I guess a pretty looking of jimping. Speaking of jimping, see if I can get this thing out. It's got some top side here, just like the Chinese version. There's your top side jimping on that one. It's pretty good. The more expensive one is definitely better. So I like the blade shape, this being a spear point, and this one, I guess you call that a drop point. It has a lot of belly to it. It kind of rolls up. As this one has more of a belly down here at the end section, end of the knife. And the reason this knife looks like this, you're seeing these stuff in here. This one actually had a little sacrifice to some sulfuric acid at work, so it took a plunge. Especially at 8CR14 MOV, it just started bubbling and hissing. So anyway, back to this knife. So what I like about this knife, I like the size. I kind of like the weight, to be honest with you. It allows me to know I have that knife in my hand. I also like the frame lock. Actuate's very nice. It has a good lockup. Show you up in here. Lockup. It's pretty good. Right in the center. There is some checkering on the inside of that liner. Excuse me, on that frame lock. And it's tapered in so it doesn't cut your finger when you're trying to push it over. So it's very nice. Okay, so what I don't like about this knife, at least my version, what I don't like about this knife, for one, it's nothing to CRKT, it's just from the factory, but the detent on this one is ridiculous. Which brings me to say the series I'm going to be doing on this knife is going to be a lot of tweaking, detail work to get it right. I'll probably upload this video separate. For one, I'm going to be fixing this detent. It's very stiff. To show you, slight pressure, more pressure, more pressure, more pressure. Finally get it to come out. The Chinese knife, it's not really a comparison, but, I had to barely put any pressure and it comes flipping out. And that's why it gives it such a good action. The reason this one's so stiff is because it's missing some bearings. which brings me to the next topic. The IKBS system on these type knives, where it has a display usually showing right here on the pivot, or it's usually somewhere stamped on the blade. You're going to be dealing with a blade that has a race kind of grooved out on the inside, where these little bearings just chill out. The only thing that's holding them to the blade is this grease they're packed with from the factory. And like me and many other people with their knives, you like to clean your blade. You like to degrease it, get that pivot nice and lubed up so it's more free flowing. And I at least thought that would help with the actuating deployment. So I did just that. Took the blade apart, and come to my surprise, I thought it was going to be something like this. A Chinese knife, the way the bearings are set up in this knife. The way they're set up in the Chinese knife, instead of using a race, they actually have a little, almost like a little collar. It's like a little cup, and you know, the bearings are placed all around it. And then your pivot screw goes actually straight through that little cup. So when you put pressure, it's actually putting pressure to the cup, and then the bearings kind of free flow. It's a little bit cheaper design, but in my book it actually works just as well, and actually works better because those bearings, when you take the knife apart, you can actually slide those little cups off to the side, and all your bearings are still packed inside there. It's almost like you took a bearing, like a hub on an axle. It's like if you were to take those out, you know, you can take them out of this. But these are just free floating and chilling out, and I lost a couple of them. So this knife here actually has sufficed by taking some bearings out, which are smaller than the ones used in here. And I had to place one every so often on one side. So I don't care for that design, really, but the overall design and functionality of IKBS with CRKT is phenomenal. The way it locks up, and the way it deploys, the way you can tighten this pivot screw down to the point where it won't lock down any tighter, yet the blade still moves freely. I think that's just an ingenious design. So you'll be seeing this knife again. First thing I'll be doing, I contacted CRKT, awesome people out there. They're sending me I think a bag set of bearings for this knife and a washer set, because it has these little rubberized Teflon washers that go on the inside, and they're held with the by the lock pin. So when that comes in, I'm going to take this knife apart. I'm going to have it all on video for you guys. I'm going to show you the best way to take the knife apart, the best way to clean it, and the best way to lube it. And then we'll replace those parts, and then we'll fix the detent, and I'm going to show you how to fix the detent on these knives. So stay tuned, keep an eye out for those videos. They will be coming out soon. So as of now, I'm Patrick of Idealholsters, and you'll be seeing this knife next time on the workbench. And see you guys later. Take care.